Welcome to the course for Azure SQL DB. And in this video session, we are going to learn about platform as a services. In the last video session, we have already learned about the connectivity architecture of the Azure SQL database. We have already gone through this step, and after that, we have gone through something called public access, how to give the access to the local your SQL Server, or if you want to connect the Azure SQL DB from the virtual machine. So how to provide the access and all we have already discussed. But in this today video, we are going to discuss about what is private access and what are the benefit. Why we are going to the private access? Even we have already public access. So this everything we are going to discuss today. So as usual, whatever we have discussed before two classes, right? So these previous two classes, whatever we have discussed, we are going to brief them. So it will take just 5 minute time. I am going with beginning to end, at least, because for understanding this private access, you have you have some knowledge on what is public access. Okay, so I will go to this PPT. In this PPT, I have already explained multiple of things, so you can see here. So to uh, if you want to connect your SQL Server Azure SQL from your local laptop, right? If your local laptop, if you are going to install your SSMS and you want to connect the Azure SQL DB server, right? That time, what you have to do, you have to add your IP, your laptop IP to in here, right? In the public access, you have to go to the select network and you have to add this IP address is nothing but it is my public IP address. So what is public and what is private IP address? I have already discussed in the previous video session. So access is provided by your vendor. And if you are talking about private IP address is same, whatever it is assigned to your laptop. So if you are going to do the IP config, you are going to get the private IP address. And if you're going to in your Google and direct you are typing and your computer is already connected with internet and you are going with the Google and you are typing what is my IP address, this IP address, whatever you will get, this IP address is nothing but your public IP address, right? So public IP address is registered and it is costly. So what you understood, if I have to connect this server, my Azure SQL server from my local laptop, so of course my local laptop IP address has to be added in the firewall rule, which one you can see here, firewall rule, just I have added here. So whatever database I will create, I will able to access. So next thing, if you are going to your virtual machine, if you have any virtual machine and from virtual machine you want to connect the SQL server or SQL server, or you want to connect any resources, right? If you want to connect any Azure resources, right? In that case, what you have to do, you have to add that virtual machine IP address to this Azure portal. So just an example, if I will go here, you will see like what I have already installed the SQL Server. I will show you now. I will go to the home. I will go to the Azure SQL database, and then I will go to inside this, and then it is going to display me the server name. I will copy this server name and I will try to access from here. I will go. I'm using the always password and username same. So successfully I was able to connect. Why successfully I was able to connect? Because I have already added this local laptop IP address to this public access. So you can see here, this is my public IP address. So if you're talking about public access means public IP address, using the public IP address, you are going to communicate. You will able to connect with your Azure SQL, right? So if I will go here and here, if I will try to add the same thing, if I will go with the connect, it is asking me to add your public IP address, but I don't want to do this, right? So it will be going to ask you the same thing. It is given here. So if you want, you can add your, of course, just now whatever I have created, that IP address is different, and whatever you are seeing here, it is different, because when I taken this screenshot, that time I have created the virtual machine, I had deleted it. Today again I have created for teaching you something different, right? So that's why my IP address is different I have got. So don't become confused. So just understood, this IP address is nothing but it is your public IP address. So what are the public IP address? What is private IP address? So if you're talking about private IP, so which are the IP? It is going to start from 10, 172 and 192 series. These all are the private IP address. Remaining all, it is the public IP. So you can see these all are the public IP. So if you want to connect your Azure SQL DB from your local laptop or from your virtual machine, right, you have to add your public IP address. So if you don't want to do this, if you don't want to add the public IP that time, and you want to access Azure SQL Server DB from the Azure resource, if you are talking about Azure resource, means it is the same example I am giving here. It is same as your virtual machine. You want to access the Azure virtual machine to the Azure SQL DB, right? So in that case, you can add this, or otherwise you can go and do the check mark here. So if you are going to do the check mark, right, so you don't have to add the IP address here, right? Directly what it is going to be happen, it is going to be open the odd port, which one we have discussed here, right? Once you will done here, go to this to code, SQL T-SQL code, and if you are going to run, right, this one I am running inside the VM. So if I'm running the inside the VM, you can see the first one IP it is going to display. What is this IP? It is 20.3.208.185. It is same IP address which one I have added here. So now you can say this connectivity is happen from your which IP address? It is happen through the public IP address, right? It is, these are the public IP address, and down which one I have ran the second code, it is showing like which are the IP you have added, you have given the access to Azure SQL DB, right? So same thing. Okay, next what I'm going to do, I'm just doing the NS lookup of this SQL Azure SQL DB, right? And I'm getting here multiple of things, right? So what is this NS lookup? I have already discussed. NS lookup is nothing but it is your, like, it is going to be tell you which that website you are using, what IP address it is using backend, right? So for that it is going to be so 20.51.9.131, right? And when I also discuss why it is like this, like 25.51.9 and 131 you have got, because it's totally depend upon your connectivity architecture, right? So that one we have already discussed, because it is depend upon your connectivity architecture, right? So in the connectivity architecture there is proxy, redirect and default, right? If you are going to see the connectivity architecture, I have already discussed with you before. Whenever it is going to be hit your database, whenever your connection, user connection is going to be touch, or your application front end it is going to be touch to the SQL DB, right? Before that it has to cross from the gateway, right? So that's why what, whenever I am pinging the Azure, I'm doing the NS lookup of the Azure SQL DB, right? It is going to be give me the gateway IP address. So whatever you are seeing here, that is the 20.51.9, this IP address is nothing but it is your IP address from which gateway it is going to be connect, right? So, and one more thing you can see here in the screenshot, what thing it is down, you can see it is something, it is talking about um, mm, data slices, right? And again is traffic manager. So we have to discuss this traffic manager, right? This is very, very important, because if you will understood what is this traffic manager, then only you will understood the next things which one I want to discuss about the private access, right? About the private access. So what happened? in this screenshot, what you have seen, whenever we are doing the ns lookup of this sql azure sql server db, right? And what we are getting some ip address. This ip address is nothing but it is your gateway ip address, means it is going to display, right? And what I have done, then again what I'm going to do, I'm going to my sql server. Okay, this is nothing but inside the vm, whatever we have done, we have got this. And this is like outside, whenever we are going to connect from outside from your laptop, right? And then if I am going to execute this code, it is going to be give me the connection, means of the local laptop public ip address. So that's why you can see this time, this screenshot is nothing but in my local laptop I have installed ssms and trying to connect. And above is screenshot is what, it is nothing but your virtual machine, which one you have created by azure. From there I have installed the sql server, and then I am trying to do the ns lookup. So that result, or that T-SQL code I'm running from here. So I hope it is understood, right? So if I'm going to talk, what is this? This is nothing but it your local laptop. So in the local laptop, when I am running this two T-SQL code, first code, it's going to be give me how your SQL server is going to be connected. So this connection is happen through the 27.7.212.163. This IP address is same IP address of this one, right? Whenever I went here and try to connect, right? So this IP address, it is taken, right? It is taken here. I hope till here it is clear now. So if I will do the NS lookup, right? So again, I am getting the same IP address. You can see the 20.51.9.131. And whenever I have done the NS lookup from the inside the virtual machine, right? So in this result is nothing but inside the virtual machine, and this result, whatever you are saying, right? It is outside. So almost both are same 20.51.9, right? 130.31, right? So whatever I am talking, this is nothing but it is the public access, right? So this is the one thing you understood, what is the firewall rule and how we are going to do this, right? You understood about this also. Now I have discussed about the public network address. Public network if you are going to create the public network address, right? So what is going to be happen, before whatever we are doing the ns lookup, we are getting the which ip, we are getting the public ip, right? So public ip we are getting, but once you are going to configure this public network access, your connection is going to be happen private. So of course I told this should be more secure here, going with public network access, going with the virtual network, going with the firewall rule, going with directory, with taking doing the check mark. So compared to this all, this is more secure public network access, because in the public network access, if you are going to enable it, and this is also known as service point, right? So if you are going to do this, what is going to be happen, you will get the access from the private ip address, right? So how it is going to be happen, that also I have already discussed, but again I will show the screenshot here. So down you can see I have added the virtual network, and using this I have added this add virtual network rule, and I have added here. Once I have added here, what you are able to see this time, the connection, whatever you are getting the public public IP address, right? The connection was happened through the public IP address, right? You can see here. Now it is happened through the private. So 10.0.0.4 series. So if you are talking about 10.0.0 this 4, this one is nothing but this is private IP address. So this time I can say if I'm going to enable the virtual network, the connection is happened through the public, not public. It should be private. That's why you will able to see the private. And this 10.0.0.4, if you are going to do the IP config, you will able to get this is the private IP address, not the public IP, right? And once you are doing the NS lookup, you will get the same result. Again, there is no differences here. So if you are going to connect with your SQL server using private a private endpoint or privately, right? Private IP, that is more secure. So I hope this one is clear. Next one, we are going to discuss now about the private access, how to enable the private access. So if you are going to talk at the again, there is one more thing. Even we have the public access, and I am telling about this one. This is more secure if you are going with the, if you are going with, this is more secure if you are going with the virtual network, right? And if you are going with the virtual network, you, which IP address you are going, it is used for connection, it is the private IP address, right? So even we have the facility, then why it is given the private IP address? So this is very very important, because in the screenshot I have shown you something called, whenever we have done the NS lookup, we have got here something called traffic manager. So what is this traffic manager? So traffic manager is nothing but it is the global load balancer, right? You can say to divert the traffic, or you can say to distribute the traffic to the correct region, right? So that's why it is used the traffic manager. So what is the work of this traffic manager? We can say this is the, it will be going to be act as a load balancer, right? So, and it is based on the DNS, right? So I will create one picture, and then you will understood, and then again we will go to our topic. So you can see this is one system here, and using this system someone is trying to connect with my laptop. Just example, this is my laptop, and from here what happened, using the internet connection, right? Using internet connection, um, someone is trying to access, this is the internet connection. Using this internet connection, we are going to connect with our SQL server. So if you are going to connect, between that there will be something called DNS, because if you are going to connect, there will be sure, there will be something called domain name system, right? DNS, it has to be resolved. So DNS, if you are talking about DNS, what will be happen, this DNS having the having something called, like in this DNS only, we having something called traffic manager, right? And this traffic manager, I will write like traffic TM. This traffic manager, it's having the is something called a routing method. Routing method is nothing but how your routing is going to be happen, which where your traffic has to be route, where your traffic has to be divert, right? How your this application from here whatever you want to connect, just I will make it this one. So from here, if you want to connect something from your SQL server, how the connection is going to be happen, right? So that everything is decided by, I'm going with the very briefly. So don't, there is a lot of logic, there is a lot of theories available. So what you understood, if somebody want to connect from your internet, this is the internet, then it has to go through the DNS server, and DNS will be having the traffic manager, and traffic manager will work on the routing method. Routing method, it is going to be, this routing method is going to be decide, right? It is going to be take care, or it is going to be take the decision where my traffic has to be rotated. So I have now three region here, just example, I have three or four region is available, right? So I can say this is the India region, this is the UK, just example UK, this is the US, etc, whatever it is there. So what is going to be happen here now, whenever you are trying to connect, I will make this. So whenever you are trying to connect with here, okay, I will make color, I will change, otherwise it is going to be give me, okay, I will make it red. So whenever somebody is trying to connect from this laptop using internet, it has to go to the DNS, and DNS having the traffic manager detail, and traffic manager what it will do, it having some routing method, right? Using the routing method, it is going to be give the IP address to this computer, right? And it is going to be say, go and connect with the India, or go and connect with the UK, go and connect with the US, anyone it is going to be give, right? So this is given by the traffic manager. Maybe your first time you are going to connect, right, with this feature, right? So traffic manager, maybe that time it will give this India IP address, it's saying like go and connect with this IP. Maybe second time if you are going to connect, it is going to be route to the UK. maybe, because traffic manager is between that. The same thing it is going to be happen in in yours also here. So because I told you first it is going to be hit the your which one, it is going to give your gateway, right? So I have already discussed and even shown the picture also. So it is going to be first go to the gateway, and gateway having multiple of IPs. You can see it is depend upon the region. If you are going with this one, so these are the IP is available, right? So it's depend upon IP. So that's why if maybe the first time if you are going, it is routed and it is given this gateway you have to pass, or next time it is going to be give the other gateway, right? So maybe you will see that this IP address, right, it is going to be changed, right? Because of this nature, even we are getting in public access, if we'll go and we'll add the virtual network, we will get the private IP, but your gateway IP, it is going to be not a constant. It is not should be static. It is dynamic. It maybe it will be going to be changed. So that's why we should not has to use this public. And second thing is it is going to be disclose also your gateway IP address. So that's why we are not going to use this public access. So compared to public access and private access, and in public apps address, there is something called service endpoint or otherwise virtual network, and this private access. In this, if you are going to compare, this should be the superior. This should be more powerful. This should be more securable. So private access is more secure compared to public access. And in the public access, we have public network access, virtual network, adding the firewall rule. You can go with this option. In this all, this is more powerful, right? More secure. Public network access, no, not public. In this one is more secure, that is called virtual network, right? And in this virtual network, and compared to virtual network and private access is more secure, right? So I hope it is clear now. So now what I'm going to do, I will try to create the private endpoint, right? So you go here in the private endpoint, you can see in the top only it is written your private endpoint must be in the same region as your virtual machine. So what is this my virtual machine? This virtual machine is nothing but node 01. So I have to verify where is my virtual machine is located. So I will go inside this virtual machine, and you can see here, just it will take time. You can see it is saying the West US. So I have created this into the West US, right? So next, if I will go to the Azure SQL DB to connect, go to here, network setting. Okay, so if we are going, and that time what we have to, if we are going and if we use the private access, right? So then what you have to do, we have to use that the same location, right? So I will go to the create endpoint. Automatically this two has taken name. I will give same as node 01 of, and I will write like endpoint, because I'm going to create the endpoint. I will give the underscore p, means private endpoint, right? And automatically okay, I will give one to. Okay, so you can see after that it is going to give the network interface name. So if you are going to create private endpoint, in the backend it is going to be create network interface, right? So what is this network interface? I have already discussed in my previous course, right? That is IAAS, infrastructure as a services, and automatically it is selected the West US2, right? This is the only region where I have to select, right? Go to the resource, and after resource go to the virtual network. Virtual network, you have to select the same virtual network. You can see the node 01 vnet, whatever it is there, right? For that virtual machine, from which virtual machine we are trying to connect the Azure SQLDB, that virtual network we have to add it here. I hope it is clear now. Go to the DNS and then go to the tag, and then go with the review and create, and just wait for some time. Once this will be ready, then we will move. So just I will pause the video for a few minutes, and once my server will be ready, means not create private endpoint will be ready, we will start no our class again. So just wait for few minutes, it will be complete. So So it is not taken much more time, and this is done now. Now I am going to the resource. Um, okay, so I went here, and then what we have to do? Okay, I will directly go. I will not going from here. I'm going to the home. I'm going to the Azure SQL database. Going to inside this. Then after going to the server name, and then I'm going with the networking, and then I'm going with the private access. So you can see in the private access, this is already created, right? I'm going to hit on this, right? So I will click on this and going with the DNS configuration, right? So you can see there is few things has been created, right? So I'm not talking about these things now. I will go and try to connect my server, right? So successfully I was able to connect. And what I'm trying to do, I will go with the CMD and I will try to do the NS lookup here. Which server? This is the server only, right? Copy NS lookup and just I paste it here and press the enter. So now what you are showing, it is giving this IP address like 10.0.0.7 IP address. What is this IP address? Just I will go to my screenshot. In the beginning, what you have seen, whenever in the first time, whenever we have used the firewall rule and we have just done the uh, NS lookup, we got some IP, right? And this IP is nothing but this IP is your um, which IP? This is nothing but your gateway IP. The same thing we have done, we have created some other one. Then we went down and we have just created something called virtual network. So when we created the virtual network, then also when we have done the NS lookup, right? And we got some IP address here like 20.51.9.131. This IP address is also, but this IP address is same IP address is the which one is used by your gateway, right? So this IP it is address it is showing, right? But but now you will able to see this IP address is totally different. This IP address is not related with your gateway server, right? So what it's happened? So we can say if you are going and creating, one second, I have to make. So we can say if you are going to your server and going inside the server, then again you go to the network configuration. And if you are going to connect, if you are going to create the private access, right? That time what it is going to be happen? It is in the private access. If you are trying to create some private access, what happen? It is going to be create some IP addresses. So how these IP addresses will come? Because it is going to be create one network interface. So if you want to see what network interface, go to the DNS configuration and then you will see this is the network interface. So whenever we are creating in the very beginning, right? So that time we given the name. So you can see this is the network interface and one IP is going to be assigned to it, right? So which IP address is free? This IP address is nothing but 10.0.0.0.7 IP addresses, right? So I hope it is clear. So if somebody is asking you what is the benefit of going with private access, so you can say if you are going with the private access, we will get some network interface card, and using this network interface it is going to be assigned one IP address. What IP address is this? Is the private IP address. Using this private address, so this private address is why this private address is given, because of this your connection is not hitting to the gateway. Of course, backend it is going to be hit, right? Behind the scene it is going to be hit the gateway, but it is not going to open. It is not going to show you which IP address which IP address gateway server you are going to connect. right? That IP address is saved. So that's why this is more powerful compared to public access. And what I am going to do, if I will take this too, and I'm going to run on this TSQL command. So let's see what IP address is going to be displayed. So if I'm going to execute, so it is going to be give this IP address is 10.0.0.4. Meaning of this means the connectivity is happen from this IP address 10.10.10 10.0.0.4, and this 4 is not this, right? Here it is showing the 7. Be remember, this 7 is some other IP addresses, right? But this is the same. So whatever we are, whenever we will go and we are creating something called private private access, right? So whenever we are doing the public access and we have used this virtual network, we are getting this kind of IP address only, private IP address. So same thing, we if we are going to do from here means private access, of course we are getting the private IP only, same as that IP address to connect with the SQL server. But backend, what you are saying, it is not going to open your gateway IP address. This is the main no benefit of this. So that only I want to explain it to in this course. So I hope you have already understood how to create the private access and public access. What is the benefit of this? Why we are going with this? And we have you have understood the practical also. Some of the basic things, if you want to learn for this course, I will recommend you go with this course. PowerShell for Azure SQL DB IAAS infrastructure as a services with networking concept. Here I have explained the all theoretical part, what is in network interface, what are the IP address, why, what are the type of IP address, why you're using this network interface card, what is the use of that, what is you know virtual network. So multiple of thing I have discussed. So if you want, you can go through this course and just read it, right? I hope till today there will be no doubt. If you have any doubt, you can ping me. I'm going to reply on you. So thank you so much for watching this video. Please continuous watch my video and let me know if you have any doubt. So that's it for the today. Thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you. Have a nice day.